Ron Wilson here. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit today about using System Integrators or SI. A lot of these companies come in and they will help you kind of transform your business. If you're moving off of legacy systems to more modern technology, they will help you get there. There are several things that you probably need to be aware of and make sure that you account for. One of the items is you need to make sure that your contract or statement of work is ironclad. These companies have a lot of lawyers, and they might tell you, hey, look, let's get this deal signed so that we can work together. We'll be a good partner for you. Make sure that you have a strong legal company or entity. Really look at your statement of work. It is actually very important in terms that you get these things reviewed because they have a lot of lawyers on the back end. And if you don't get the contract right, you're setting yourselves up for failure and a lot of heartache. Another item you need to really be aware of is you might initially get a fairly low number from these system integrators. They often compete. So you want to make sure that you get 2 to 3 quotes to make sure that you've got good information and good knowledge and can make a good decision. But these system integrating companies like Infosys, SI, Accenture, IBM in some cases, they will come in, you'll get a contract signed, and before you know it, this amount of money will start to increase by change orders. They'll say things are out of scope. So you really need to make sure that you've done your homework and laid everything out so that everybody understands what's going on. The other thing that you need to be careful of is initially they're going to bring in their A players. And their A players are going to sell you on the service. But before too long, after the contract is signed, you'll hear things. This person, we're going to bring in somebody else. They're as much knowledge and have as much experience as the last guy. And especially if it's a multi-year deal, you will get B and C players, and the A players will go off and sell other contracts and services. So make sure you get a commitment within your contract to say that you're going to get top-rated people throughout the whole engagement. And if you don't, then you have the right to request a replacement or perhaps have a penalty in there. They're going to use an offshore model, and there's a lot of communication that has to happen between offshore and onshore. You want to make sure that they are doing the best work they have. And another thing you want to make sure of, because what they're going to do on the backside of this contract is they're going to subcontract this work out to other firms. So you want to make sure that you ask them and expect that you don't have subcontractors in your work. Because they'll do that a lot of times. They'll get the higher dollar amount, and then they'll replace them with subpar people. Another thing that they'll do is they'll say, look, give us 30 or 40% contingency on the contract so that we don't have to continue to request money. And a lot of times they'll use that contingency fund to help supplement or get additional work in. And before you know it, you're having to go back to your board or your CIO or your CEO to get additional funding. So make sure that there's not a whole lot of contingency there and that they're not trying to have a lot of change orders to kind of get these things done. I've seen it time and time again where these companies come in, they try to get something up and going. For whatever reason, it doesn't work. Before you know it, you're asking more money from the board. And They will find ways to either blame your internal employees, or they'll say they didn't have enough experience or background. But you really have to be careful with system integrators, because they also, from the backside of all this, they will get in your business, and it'll be very hard for them to get out. You'll become very reliant on them, and they will encourage that you continue to use their people and their services. So these are some things that you really need to be careful with. Make sure you do your homework, and so that you're covered. I hope that this has been helpful. If you want to understand or get more information about QA, please visit my website at qarevolution.com, or visit my additional videos on YouTube under QA Revolution. Thanks, and have a good day.